All right, real good stuff, doers. This is a return to a Polishing Turds series. This is the 7th or 8th episode, I think, of the 2nd season of Polishing Turds. If you're unfamiliar with it or newer to the channel, I'm going to put this in a playlist if it's not already in one. And there is a playlist of the first full season that you can already go watch and watch a naturally aspirated small block Chevrolet go through a transformation. But I'll put this in a playlist so you can catch up on where we're at in the series right now. I know we took a little bit of a break, but I'm trying to catch up on these videos. So here we go. Merch is at HeraldEngine.com. Like, share, subscribe, all that stuff.
Let's take garbage and make it shine. This whole project is asinine. Waste some time with me, I can guarantee this old junk will soon tone the line. We're polishing turds. Mediocrity curve. I can't find the words. This song is absurd. We're polishing turds. We're polishing turds.
All right, real good stuff, doers. Doers of real good stuff. Today we're going to be back to polishing on Cody's blown small block a little bit. I'm back here in my cave where the stereo is quiet and there's not so much beating and banging, so that I can record these amazing videos for you guys. But the first thing we're going to do today is fill this block a little bit with a product that's called rock block. I use various things over the years to do this. A lot of times now I use rock block. I use hard block. On the higher end builds we'll use epoxy. It's much lighter and also much more expensive, like infinitely more expensive, but it is pretty snazzy if you need it. But this rock block stuff works pretty good. One of the reasons I use it is if you screw up bad enough, it's not necessarily a death sentence. You can kind of chip it out. If they claim it's machinable, it is a little bit more undoable if you make mistakes. The hard block is a concrete type deal, and it's there for good. It's like being born ugly. If you're born ugly, you're always going to be ugly. That's what hard block is if you use it. But anyhow, we're going to mix this up a little bit. I kind of mix it up. They claim like pancake batter, and that works pretty good. I do it on maybe the thinner side of pancake batter, and the reason that is so that it will flow around in there a little pretty good. And in the case of this block, we bored this thing 4 1/8 now, 4 1/25, and there's still plenty of meat. Maybe could get away without doing this, but it's always stronger. And this, we could fill it all the way, but if somebody were to ever want to use this as a wet block again down the road, they wouldn't be able to. So I'm going to fill it kind of halfway or a little past halfway, and that'll strengthen things up. Right now you have basically an unsupported areas that are, you know, all the way down to the bottom of these skirts, so 4 or 5 inches or whatever unsupported. Well, that'll put some meat behind this thing up to within, say, an inch or inch and a half of the top. So if it's going to push something out and crack it, it has to do it in that very top spot. Now that's where all the pressure is, but it really helps to have the bottom supported so it can't push it around. Like I say, it more than likely wouldn't be an issue on this thing, but the more rigid you can make that, the better you're going to be at holding cylinder pressure, and that means more power, which is the name of the game here. So I'm going to mix up some juice here and pour it in. One of the things I always do, the biggest thing when you're doing this is kind of get ready. You need to get it up on a stand, a good stand, not no AutoZone stand. It needs to be able to hold the block level And some of the cheaper stands can't do that. You need to be level so that when you fill it, it feels level. And make sure, stock blocks, make sure you got a bolt or something in here. Some of these go through and they'll run out. If they don't, this one don't, it's blind. And the biggest thing is all your thread holes and everything, go ahead and tape them up. Tape up everything that you do not want block fill getting in. Because if you screw up and get that down to the threads, you're gonna hate life for a minute because it's gonna suck. But tape it up, 10 cents worth of tape, you don't gotta worry about it. Anyhow, let's mix up some goo and fill this thing up. I like to do this before we machine so that it's not supposed to push anything around, and generally it doesn't, but get in there, let it cure, set up before we machine, and that'll be, in theory, a better job. And that's what we're all about here. Anyhow, let's mix it up. All right, let's pour some more. Well, this is some premium content generation today. I mean, doesn't get more exciting than pouring concrete in a small block Chevrolet. Or at least not that I know of. I can't think of anything more exciting to do. This is it. This is peak YouTube right here. Eat your heart out, Cleus McFarland. You ain't got nothing on this. Nothing. It's probably trying to jump a Chevette across the Grand Canyon right now. Not me. I'm pouring concrete in a small block Chevrolet. Alright, so we've got our block filled, hard block everywhere. You can see this. We're up about 1.5 inches or so from the deck, something like that. And that'll beef these cylinders up a little bit. And that's what we're trying to do. Now that we've got that accomplished, we're going to head over to the line home and check out the mains on this thing. We're putting ARP studs in it instead of the bolts that it came with, and we're going to talk a little bit about what that does and why we need to take a look at that. We got our block up in our line home. We're gonna get the mains in order, but before we start, I want to show you a little bit about what we're doing and why we do it. Right now I've got the bolts that this thing came with torqued into this rear main housing. They call for 75 foot-pounds of motor oil, or with motor oil for lube, right? And when I checked that with my handy dandy dial indicator, we're on the small side. We're about 5/10 small, right? So more than likely I'm going to want to come out and get the size a little bit bigger. But before we do that, I'm going to switch to the ARP bolts that pull to 80 with their lube. We're actually going to use number 3, but that may tighten this up a little bit. We'll see if it does or not. I'm kind of surprised these pull 75, but anyhow, we're going to torque these to 80 with number 3 and see if this number changes. Alright, different fastener. We got the ARP main stud in here, number 3 lubricant, exactly 1 tube, and we're torqued to 80 foot-pounds. And as you can see, now we're about 7/10 or so small, at least a little over 7, maybe closer to 8. So we've tightened up a couple tenths, right? Not the end of the world, but this can be much worse. On certain stuff, it'll really distort. But anyhow, we're gonna go ahead and set up the mandrel now and bring this out to the probably the low side of the tolerance and see where our clearance is at, and then go from there. All right, so we're kind of wrapped up here. We got our main bearings in, got our clearance where we want to be. In this case, we're kind of in the low 3s, high 2s. This thing had a lot of taper for whatever reason. The front of the block was big and the back was kind of small, but we fixed all that. Now we're ready for, well, probably next thing we'll do is we'll hone the cylinders. That'll be coming up on the next episode, not today. But if you need, if you want shirts, merch, and whatnot, is at HarrellEngine.com. Like, share, subscribe, all that jazz. That's enough for today. Whatever. Who cares?
Polishing turds. Mediocrity curd. I can't find the words. This song is absurd. We're polishing turds. We're polishing turds.